Hello everyone, and welcome to the future of decision making. My name is Kate Wright, and I run our Augmented Business Intelligence product and development team. And I have the great pleasure today to tell you all about SAP's Analytics Cloud strategy. Now, before I get started with that, I also would like to make sure that you understand that we are talking about strategy, which means we're talking about forward-looking statements and what we plan to do. And of course, because we also like to ensure that we're meeting your needs at all times, we might have to change that. So please bear that in mind with any decisions you are making, is that this is the current plan and the plan sometimes changes. Let's get back to the more exciting part of our presentation. And that's really all about where SAP is heading as far as analytics. And I am really thankful to tell you that in 2020, we've really acknowledged that we're in a bit of a changing world. And we also wanted to recognize that historically, analytics tools have been really aimed at being that. They've been a tool for a set of people. But we've really had this challenge in analytics that we've underserved the entire workforce. And right now, what I'm hearing more and more is that companies want to be entirely data-driven in their decision-making. And in order for that to be true, we have to serve everyone, which means we really want to make our analytics solutions all about you and all about the people in your workforce who take decisions every single day. The other thing I wanted to say is that, of course, because we're SAP, we have a unique understanding of how businesses run, which is why we want to make sure that as you are working, as your workforce is making decisions as part of their business transactions, as part of their day-to-day work, we can understand from an analytics perspective really what is needed, when, and how. And that is underlying our entire strategy. Of course, let's break it down a little bit further, because it's not just about the person at the end of the day, but it's also about how we're doing that. So of course, what we're talking about here is really extending the reach of analytics to better serve the business user, sometimes discussed as the information worker or the decision maker. And that person really does not have a lot of time to work with data, to find or look for data. They need to be able to get insights and information and get out quickly. And so we're investing to ensure that the experience is relevant and appropriate for them. And we're helping do that through some of the emerging technologies that exist today, like natural language query and machine learning, to bring them insights as automatically, as easily, and as trustworthy as possible so that they can really get value out of our analytics solutions. Here at SAP, with SAP Analytics Cloud, we've already done something totally different on the market. And that is that we've recognized that with analytics, there's classically been these different market segments, but very often the same person is really doing enterprise planning, business intelligence, and predictive analytics. How do you build a plan without understanding where you are? And how do you rely on your plan unless you can forecast where you're going and then monitor it and change it? And so SAP Analytics Cloud already brings together those market segments of planning, BI, and predictive analytics. But in addition to that, our overall solution aims to bring you the entire breadth of what you need from a use case perspective to serve enterprise analytics inside your company. That means we support workflows like distributing information, reporting, bursting, rich analytical applications that help you be able to build the dashboard you need or the rich planning workflow and workbook that you might need for your particular business process. We also have mobile solutions, right? To be able to monitor where your information is on the go. We of course support self-service and data exploration, and we have our flagship digital boardroom. We have a huge breadth of support depending on really what our customers need. And of course, we're doing that at enterprise scale with all the supportability, manageability, auditability that you rely on from SAP and from what you need to really run any kind of application for thousands and hundreds of thousands of users. I will also say that SAP is really behind what we're doing with analytics. And as part of that and really building up our intelligent enterprise strategy, we are committed to putting Analytics Cloud inside the entire suite of cloud applications. And so as part of that, this year we've released S4 integration with SAP Analytics Cloud and SuccessFactors and many, many more. What that means is that if you're already a SuccessFactors customer, for example, you are receiving a free embedded edition as part of your SuccessFactors license. And that means right out of the box, the person who's making the decisions about HR, who needs to be able to get insights and be able to action them right away can do that right as part of the tool. One of the reasons we're talking so much about the business user and the information worker right now is that the market is in the transition to a bit of a revolution. And of course, everybody who's been working in BI for a while knows that we started with platforms, we moved towards self-service, and we started serving a bigger community outside of IT with really data professionals who live inside the line of business. But unfortunately, we still haven't been able to properly serve that full community that happens within a workforce. And that's really the revolution we're acknowledging and observing happening in the industry right now, and that SAP is right on the forefront for. We want to make sure that IT, analysts, and the entire workforce of business users is served with SAP Analytics Cloud. But of course, it's all about that person at the end of the day, because we know that most people just don't have the time to go looking for data, to cleanse data, to move data between different tools, because they need to be focused on what is required to get the job done. And so we did an inventory of the different use cases that they do on a daily basis, be that doing analysis, building the plan, monitoring what's happening, reporting on it, sharing it with others, and asking questions. Really making sure that what they need to get the job done is available as part of SAP Analytics Cloud. Now, of course, SAP Analytics Cloud is part of this broader portfolio, and we actually use a data value formula to enable business to realize the value of their data. Because certainly, us analytics professionals know that data alone is just not enough. We need to make sure people actually make use of that data, and we know that from experience with analytics projects. Of course, organizations must be able to experiment freely in the digital world before they transfer their ideas for innovative new products, business models, and services into reality. And of course, none of this would be possible at all if you can't trust the quality, the semantics, the governance, and ultimately the accuracy of the data. Unleashing this data superpower is about the tight interconnectivity of the entire data value chain, from its ingestion and storage to its semantics, governance, and analysis. Without this end-to-end approach to the data journey, we know that most data projects fall into the chasm of disappointment. Where the elements of the data value formula don't hold true, it's impossible for either people or algorithms or machine learning to actually come to robust conclusions and ultimately make decisions. That is why the data value formula lies at the heart of the data superpower. Now, SAP continues to follow its North Star strategy, the intelligent enterprise. The intelligent enterprise has evolved to meet this critical moment we're all facing this year that nobody could have anticipated. And as part of that, companies need to react fast to changing market demands and making the ability to make informed decisions based on real-time data. SAP believes that best-run businesses are intelligent enterprises, which apply technologies within agile integrated business processes. To ensure that an organization's business applications can talk to each other, can be integrated within the intelligent enterprise portfolio, and can be made with ease of use in mind, a common unified technology platform is essential. That's why last year we introduced SAP's Business Technology Platform to enable businesses turning data into business value from on-premise to cloud. To date, SAP's Business Technology Platform, or BTP, is a portfolio of integrated solutions that comprise powerful capabilities in 4 technology areas: database and data management, analytics, application development and integration, and of course, intelligent technologies. The Business Technology Platform provides flexibility and agility for developing business applications. And SAP continues to integrate this portfolio more tightly along the requirements of our customers to deliver these technologies on one unified platform with a consistent commercial model, one domain model and digital cockpit, an open service catalog, and seamless, consistent user experience. This is TechEd. This is the time to learn about it. I highly encourage you to go check out some of those other sessions. Now I'm going to bring it back to analytics, and the most important thing for all of us, including me who's building the software, is ultimately making sure you're getting value from it. And so I wanted to share with you 3 different stories from 3 very different customers on how they're using SAP Analytics Cloud. First and foremost, AG Real Estate. AG Real Estate has a challenge on their hands because they own shopping centers. And certainly right now is a very challenging time when they are competing with the digital marketplaces that are out there and really trying to bring people into their stores. Never harder than in 2020. What they have done is they have actually used SAP Analytics Cloud's augmented analytics capabilities to understand the drivers that ultimately make people come into this shopping center and or those businesses to choose them over their competitors. And they have been able to really increase some of the foot traffic and success they are seeing by really making those intelligent choices in a robust and real-time way. Signify is another really interesting example. They're going through a huge transformation to become a more digital company, and I would highly suggest you Google some of the things that they are doing. But they're using SAP Analytics Cloud to help with that data transformation, and they're using us for both enterprise planning as well as business intelligence. And of course, Villeroy & Boch really were looking for better transparency so that they could appropriately manage what they are doing, and they chose SAP Analytics Cloud to put in as a more modern analytics platform. Now I wanted to tell you a little bit about some of the things that we've done in 2020 that I'm excited about, and just kind of jump into a few specific highlights. So first and foremost, what we've been doing in the planning space is really looking at how we can take advantage of that predictive engine we have in SAP Analytics Cloud to be able to better automate the planning process. And the interesting thing here is that it's not necessarily, again, just about a tool. It's really about a robust understanding of what is required in order to have successful financial planning and analysis occur in conjunction with robust data science. And that is non-trivial. And typically, in order to do this sort of thing, you end up with a lot of people involved, a lot of custom work on very unintegrated solutions, and a lot of education going between groups that don't typically talk to each other. And so what we have done is recognize that in order to really do a proper forecast, I mean, think about this. This is a car company. If you think about the difference between a convertible selling in Southern California or in rainy Vancouver, where I'm currently sitting, or the interest in the population purchasing a minivan in North America or in Europe, where you just don't have much of an interest, you really need to be able to understand that going down to that level of detail, that dimensional level, regional, car make or manufacturer, is required in order to get to that robust forecast. And so what our customers found that when they were able to actually use this is they were able to roll it out and scale it much faster to get that value than they ever expected, because they were expecting they would have to train their controllers in data science. And instead what they were able to do is roll this out quickly and rather focus their data scientists on more high value problems, which has been a huge return in value for them. Now let's talk about what we're doing in the embedding space. Specifically, I'm going to choose SuccessFactors as an example. And I choose it as an example because if you think about integrating an analytics solution with your HR solution, you should be a little scared. Because of course, data security, data privacy, really understanding how you can be able to take decisions and yet do it in such a way that respects that, it's very complex. And what we were able to do to really bring to an HR professional or a manager like me is really powerful insights that respect all of that. We had to really, in our analytics tool and team, gather a really rich semantic understanding of what happens in the HR space. And of course, we also were able to go across different modules of success factors in the kind of way that only analytics and insights can. If you think about it, you have all these different factors of an employee life cycle. You have making sure that you hire the right people and you can recruit the right people. You want to be able to develop them. You want to make sure that they're learning. You need to reward and compensate them appropriately. And of course, sometimes you need to transform your workforce and those people don't work for you anymore. And analytics is the most beautiful way to give you that 360 view of really what is happening in your workforce in order for somebody like me to manage my team, or in order for your HR department to be able to support you in complex workforce strategy. It's exactly what we've done by embedding the embedded edition of SAP Analytics Cloud right into SuccessFactors. And of course, this is just the beginning. In 2021, we plan to replace SAP SuccessFactors Workforce Analytics entirely, which is today a standalone solution for both analytics and for planning. Of course, this is also just symbolic of what we can do by embedding within SAP's cloud suite of applications. And I need you to realize and understand and imagine how easy it is for an HR professional to go from a dashboard that shows them what is going on with their total job postings right into that job posting to be able to cancel it or upgrade it or send it to a recruiter. You really are able to jump right from insight to action with our integration. Now I'd like to make sure that I showcase you something a little more interesting and get right into the product. And what I've chosen to do is highlight not only our new data preparation suite that we've released as part of SAP Analytics Cloud, but also powerful what-if analysis capabilities. Because right now, I know that your user base needs to understand what will happen under these changing conditions. And the only way to do that is to simulate that with data. So let's go ahead and let's take a look at what you can do with SAP Analytics Cloud. So what I've done is I've chosen some data we can all be familiar with. So this is property tax data that I pulled from the public city of Vancouver, where I live, that gives you a sense of, it's more than 1 million records, it's a data set that you can just download in a spreadsheet format, and it gives you a sense of how the property tax breakdowns occur across different categories of property. So you've got, of course, the residential, you've also got the commercial, you've also got things that are being developed. And what I wanted to do is really understand the impact that COVID might have ultimately on our property taxes and therefore the services the City of Vancouver can offer to its residents coming up next year. So I brought that data in, and you can get a sense here of our new experience around wrangling and data preparation. We really wanted the data to be interactive and to be easy to work with in the way that you need to be able to ultimately work, cleanse, adjust the data to be able to visualize, analyze it, and get insights off of it. And so you can see I've chosen a simple example of just building a hierarchy that I'm going to use in just a minute. And the reason I wanted to do that was to show you just how easy it is to drag and drop how you expect that data to aggregate. Because of course, you know, with property, you can see there are categories of property, and then there are areas that the properties might exist in, and then there's even the zip code level. And certainly analyzing at a zip code level is a little too complex. So what I wanted to do was, we've already visualized those different property taxes and how they break apart. But now I wanted to ask myself the question, what would happen if some of those many restaurants that unfortunately we love here in Vancouver were unable to pay their property taxes next year? And so what I'm going to do is I wanted to ask myself, what if, and simulate the impact. So I'm creating a table. I'm going to add the taxes to the table, and I'm also going to add the hierarchy that I just built, the property postal code hierarchy, to that table. I'm going to take a look and I'm going to simulate what would happen in the case where we were unfortunately not able to receive the revenues that we wanted to. So let's first take a look. You can see the total tax revenue and you can see the commercial revenue. So let's imagine that potentially our commercial revenues came in, but we only got 70% of what we had last year. So let's reduce that by 30%. And the system is smart enough that I can do something that high level, reduced by 30%. What it's going to do is it's going to simulate, and it's going to change a second set of records behind the scenes so that as a user, I can see the follow-on impact of that. I can see what the impact is on the total. I can see what the impact breakdown would be by the different kinds of commercial real estate. And I can, of course, see that in all the other visualizations where I've looked at that. I also have a history. So if I want to walk back and do an easy comparison, I can go and I can look at what it was like before, or I can just as easily undo one of those changes. And as you can imagine, when you're kind of walking through a different scenario with somebody, you might make a significant amount of changes. So let's also decrease the comprehensive development. Maybe not by quite as much. Let's make it 20%. And again, the system is going to be able to build that simulation and that what if for me. And I can see that history on the right-hand side so that I can adjust, I can compare, I can roll back, and you can build quite a complex plan in very few seconds, right? This is something that almost anybody can do, and that's really going back for our business user and making sure that anybody has the power to interact with data in a powerful way and really do what-if analysis to make sure that we're making the best decisions in these conditions we're currently working in. So now I would like to take you through what we are planning with SAP Analytics Cloud, namely our future innovation, and also highlight some of the things we did in 2020. Of course, we continue to focus on the core investment areas that we know you will need and that are ultimately making our product successful in the market. And as we've already talked about, bringing insights to the business user is a huge focus for us. Next year, we are going to ensure that they can monitor and be alerted on the data they need in a way that is conducive for them to be successful. We also continue to advance our platform. And by that, I mean both the use case breadth and availability, no matter where your data is, and of course, ensuring that it is provided where you need it to be. So it could be on-prem, it could be in the cloud, you want to be able to connect to it, but you also need to be able to choose the data center that's appropriate to your data strategy. And of course, it's key to mention that we are SAP and we are committed to ensuring that analytics at scale is delivered for you, which means maturing our enterprise capabilities. And that includes things like lifecycle management, multi-language support, and appropriate auditing. As part of SAP's commitment for the intelligent enterprise, SAP Analytics Cloud will be included in all of the SAP Intelligent Cloud applications. And that rollout is continuing through 2020 and through 2021. As SAP Analytics Cloud is much more than just reporting, I would be remiss if I didn't highlight a few things on the enterprise planning side. And I especially wanted to highlight some of the automation and the tracking that we are making available as part of your planning process. Evidently, everything I already showed with predictive is very exciting. And of course, we continue to mature and expand the kinds of complex use cases you can solve for your planning process, because we know every business is a bit different. Lastly, I want to bring it back to that person. Because in 2021, we intend to make sure that your entire workforce can participate in data-driven decision-making and is appropriately served by our analytics solution. And for that to be true, I have this belief that we need to make a cohesive experience that is something that can be really valuable in just a few minutes. And if you think about it, no matter where that decision maker is coming from, whether it be S4, whether it be a financial application, whether it be a dashboard you built for them or an alert on their phone, they want to understand the data they just saw. They want to be able to ask questions on it, and they should be able to ask questions that were not scripted, trust what they see, and ultimately be able to save that so that they can find it later, that they can monitor it, or they can share it with other people. And we expect that to be a really quick loop that happens day in, day out, multiple times a day. And we want to make sure that business user is successful. And that's what we're going to do next year. And I'm really excited because I believe that we are all going to be part of these data-driven businesses going forward, and your entire workforce should be taking part in this and really serving the entire population with analytics in ways that we have never done before. So with that, I'd very much like to thank you for spending the time with me and learning a little bit more about our analytics strategy. And I would like to, of course, encourage you to continue your journey at TechEd and check out some more sessions, especially in the analytics and data space. We have a lot of great presenters available for you to learn. Check out the BTP. And again, thank you very much.
you